How could a new and engaging combat system be designed for the next Witcher game? My goal is to provide a challenging and interesting combat system and lay out to you the mechanics and concept. There will always be an active way to engage different types of enemies. The idea is to give the player the opportunity to figure out effective ways to deal with these different types of enemies and tackle them in a strategic and stylish way, and eventually take them down with non-RNG finisher moves. To achieve that, I will also provide a fitting enemy design for monsters, human-shaped enemies, and also a moveset for them and the player. And that's gonna be the topic of my upcoming video series. Currently, we don't know much about the new Witcher game, only that CD Projekt Red will use the Unreal Engine 5. When we look back at The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt, what stands out are the well-written stories and characters and the atmospheric world, even compared to modern standards. But what doesn't hold up to modern game standards is the combat system. All that being said, let's jump right into it. The Witcher 3 combat consists of sword strikes, magical signs, potions to buff you, 2 gadgets, and includes 4 skill segments. Which leads to a big critique point of mine. In an amount of 80 different skills, there are way too few active skills. The swordplay only includes 2 basic strides, light and strong, and 1 alternative for each strike. For example, you can dodge and roll out of harm's way from the very beginning, but new or enhanced options to fight enemies differently or in a type-adequate way, for example to deal with an unblockable attack or a heavily armed knight, are not available. On the other hand, the signs are more refined. Each of the 5 signs has an alternative mode, and the signs are differently useful depending on the situation or type of enemy. There are also bombs and a crossbow which are quite useful in certain situations. But that does not compensate the lack of sword gameplay variation. For example, in the game Ghost of Tsushima, there are 4 stances against the 4 types of enemies the player is facing, plus a variety of viable stealth options and more. In other words, different tools for certain problems. Another example is From Software's Sekiro, where you have the Mikiri counter, a maneuver specialized against thrusting attacks. There you also have the option to jump over wide sweeping attacks and inflict posture damage, which both are very useful and satisfying once you've figured out the timing. And these kind of skills will stay in the focus of my combat system in the following episodes. Coming to my first concepts, namely the stamina and mana system for the player character. In The Witcher 3, using 1 sign depletes the stamina bar fully. You can also use adrenaline, but only if you have the skill required active. And that's because you can only have 12 skills set active. Even if you have 20 skills acquired, you can't use them simultaneously. There will be a stamina bar which is enhanceable by spending skill points or using potions. The mana bar should have a slow regeneration rate during combat, which also can be upgraded. So the player will be at some point be able to cast several signs in a row without depleting the mana bar, and thus something to look forward to. And now to the next mechanic, stamina or posture for human enemies. The stamina stats and also the moveset is defined by the armor and weapons the foe is wearing. The stamina bar can be depleted by kicks, signs, poisons or consecutive parries, as you might know from the game Sekiro. But when the posture is broken or the stamina is depleted, the foe is only defenseless against attacks and vulnerable to effects like knockdowns and such. Imagine the following with me. You deplete the stamina bar with the consecution of parries. After that, you can bring in the damage until the stamina bar is fully recharged. It might not necessarily mean the foe is defeated by that, but either you deliver the damage or had time to deal with other members of the group, for example. There will be different skills to enhance the options and effectiveness of this approach, and fitting enemy designs to make use of this mechanics. For monsters, there will be no stamina or posture bar, but other mechanics to take advantage of. Depending on the size and type of the monster, there will be different behaviors and a weak spot system. With an enhanced moveset of the player and also the monsters, fights will be more dynamic. I want to show you one simple example for a monster type, Giant/Troll type. The Giant wears leg armor, which can be removed by using the sign Igni. After that, the legs can be attacked and the monster can be felled. Only when the Giant is down, his vital parts can be attacked and he can be slain. But this is only an example. I will make dedicated episodes for human enemies and monsters. I hope you like my ideas. If you do, I'm glad to see you again in the next episode. Thank you and goodbye. The contents of the episodes will be, in the second episode, the controller layout and combat moveset for the player. After that, attack chains including Witcher signs, human enemy design and tactics including armory and weaponry and how these affect their behavior, monster combat design and tactics, and for the finale, how a skill tree and skill progression could be fleshed out and some ideas for general gameplay.